All right, so I wanted to tell you what's been going on. So the aliens have been especially brutal to me over the last, well, especially today, which has been especially confusing for me because I don't understand exactly why it is that they're doing that, and it's been like every little thought, you know what I mean? Like especially things that I wouldn't expect for them to mess with me about, then they will mess with me about those things. For example, earlier today, I was thinking to myself, oh, I want to, I want to do a video talking about how these things have been treating me today. It's kind of weird. And I was thinking to myself how I would say it, and then they started to assault my mind as I was thinking about it. And they did this more than once, and that's the kind of thing that they do all the time. Is they especially pinpoint times, and it this type of opportunity will present itself to them more often than you would think throughout the day. Um, they can find different little ways to get that done. Even just earlier when I was trying to shoot this video, I tried to remember something that they had done, and they made me feel like they were making me forget it. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like why would they do that? You know what I mean? It's like they want my bewilderment heightened. You know what I mean? And it seems like that's more consistent of a pattern than even just being unexpected. It's more, it seems to be the case that what they really want is for me to be like, why the fuck would you even do that? You know what I mean? Or just in general, that type of reaction. But usually is something that I would never see them doing. And that's what makes it even more. And they have full access to my brain. They can see all my thoughts. So it's not exactly probably hard for them to, and they can know what I'm going to be thinking in advance. So it's just, either way, it doesn't really matter. But the point of the story is just that, so today was especially bad with regard to that type of thing. And, I haven't been able to figure out exactly what it is that's causing it. The last couple of days have been relatively calm. Now there have been things the last couple of days, and I made videos about this. And what I was explaining was that while over the course of the last couple of days there have been these types of situations, that there haven't been as many things for them to mess with me about. Because as soon as and that kind of brings me to my you know estimation or understanding of what it is that's actually occurring, which goes back to the decentralization provision, because the decentralization provision is a very complex, relatively complex provision that explains, okay, well, this is how the senators, get paid, and it's designed so that people don't have the ability to really vote. It's you vote for the mayor, you vote for the city council, and then they assign a senator to the regional level, which can be in some cases a large city, in some cases it's going to be just a population of 500,000, a collection of towns and small cities or something like that. And so in those cases, then they'll assign senators to the regional level in voting blocks of no less than 50,000, or towns and cities that have a population of more than 50,000. And then so the way that it's designed is it gets a little complicated, but their votes are weighted by how much money they contributed to their local, government, or how much taxes did they contribute. Period. And then the level above them, which will be like the state level, they'll assign a senator to that region. Will assign a senator to the state level, And then they're, so they'll have equal weight voting, and then they'll have this other type of voting, which is how much did you contribute with your taxes. And then on some cases, they'll have only equal weight voting, which means like something like highways or something like that would have only equal weight voting, because then that's just a situation where, if it doesn't equal a certain dollar amount, then it'll be, equal weight voting. You have the ability for it to be equal weight voting at that point. It's not necessarily equal weight voting because it has to be something that will not cost money, or have residual costs or financial costs, exceeding a certain amount. And so, but either way, the main thing is just to say that, this entire system, the way that works, it really doesn't allow people to go and vote for, their the politicians that go and work at Congress for the state Congress, or even they don't even vote for politicians who go to work at the federal Congress. All of those politicians are being assigned by governments beneath them. And so it works. It'll actually work because that's what you call decentralized government. And the way that works is that they get all the essential services that they need from the governmental systems above them, and then you just basically you can get other things as well, but in reality, the system is designed to prevent people from, petitioning the government for free healthcare and all this different kind of shit, and so, and there's even further safeguards built into it than that. Social Security, all this different kind of trash, that it's just going to be expensive. And yes, people like it. I saw this woman walking past the front of my house. I got my window cracked. I think she could hear me. She looked like she was into that kind of trash. Social services, all this trash. Expensive things, And that's the thing, is like the average person will vote for those things. You know what I mean? And not understand how that affects the economy, And so it's not that we're saying that you can't go buy health insurance, It's just that we're saying the government doesn't buy you health insurance, That's not how that works. And the government isn't really there to do anything besides what you cannot do for yourself, like call the cops and build highways and shit like this. Anyways, look, the point of the story is this. That's that people aren't gonna like it. You know what I mean? So the end result is that since people won't like it, then I don't know. I haven't figured out why they do this yet, because with regard to what they did to me in California, it made a hell of a lot more sense. It was all, oh yeah, we're doing this to you because, sex trafficking, and then, all these people are being sex trafficked, and, so we're doing this to you because that's going to affect the British royal family, and then they ended up getting cancer and all this kind of stuff. Okay. I can kind of see how that works because, they did that in Egypt, and it's the only thing that really makes sense when you look at what they were doing and repeating over and over and over and over and over and over and over again the whole time that I was out there, then I understand exactly what happened. And that is exactly what happened. So, and I can see that having some effects as far as getting people to say, oh, okay, yes, I like it, maybe. But, with regard to, the way that they're going about this with, these provisions, as I'm trying to work through them, it's just like a nightmare that never ends. When I sent out the book to all these churches, really people that worked at different churches, I sent it out to thousands of people. I think I probably sent it out to, I don't know. Eventually, the list of people got to be pretty damn long. I think I was sending it. I think I was getting on average 7,000 people to open the email every single time. Anyways, the main thing what I'm trying to say is this, okay? So as soon as I started sending out emails to large numbers of people concerning, what's going on, all this different kind of thing, um, it they started to mess with me. This was back in January because I sent it out right around Inauguration Day. I thought martial law was about to get declared. I didn't know what was going on. I sent out the book to all these people right around Inauguration Day to thousands of people. And they started back messing with me a lot right around that time, you know? Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea what's causing it. It's so I've tried to think of it, but I mean it's having something to do with the fact that people know about it. I don't know. Maybe it might just be. I mean, it just seems so brutal, and like on a day like today, it's just so brutal the way that they've been going about this. They're just assaulting me and assaulting me and assaulting me and assaulting me. I'm like, holy shit, man, is this ever gonna end? I'm like, dude, come on. This is ridiculous. You know, it's just so offensive because they've been going like this with me for so long, several months. You know, it's just almost like who even cares anymore? You know what I mean? I don't even think it's like there's some tortured guy. You know, it's I don't know. It's just crazy. I mean, at a certain point, it's ridiculous. You know. So I'm hoping that this shit is starting to come to an end because I can maybe say, you know, well, this is the part where we release the Constitution, and they have been a little more, specific about which parts of the Constitution it is that they're targeting. You know, like the complex ones. So, with that being said, then yeah, with that being said, I would say that it just feels like they're saying something like, well, yeah, we're getting long in the tooth here, but these are the ones we really needed to be like this with you about, and you know, it's just, to me, it's like, well, if that's the case, then you know, just get it over with. But if we're talking like because I want this shit to come to an end, you know. I mean, I just released that decentralization provision a few days ago, and then I did the mayor's provision immediately after that. How we pay the mayor and do all this stuff, how he gets elected, all this kind of thing, and then that one was just a nightmare from beginning to end. You know, like it was a real nightmare. Any little thing, any single fucking part of that provision, any single thing, anything at all, that required any amount of thought whatsoever, then they were an assault to my mind. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It gets so brutal around here sometimes, man. Seriously, it's like over and over and over and over again. It's a brutal assault that's occurring inside of my brain. I don't know how to explain it. It sucks. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like the feeling of something that like is like an assumption. Like, I'm assuming that I should be in your head, or it's not. I mean, it's not like it's unmistakable. You know what I mean? It's a brutal assault that I can't even describe. And it's not like, well, just don't think about it. It's not like that. You know what I mean? And they can turn it up like a dial. You know what I mean? Like, if they want it to be a little bit fucked up, or if they want it to be terrible, like, they can make it terrible to the point where you're screaming and, man, you know what I mean? Absolutely terrible. And that's the thing with me, is it's been a lot of times it's like, well, I'll just ignore it, but you can't ignore it. You know what I mean? It's not like that. You know what I mean? It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. My God, I can't even explain it to you how fucking terrible it is. It's kind of like blow your brains out territory. I think about it a lot. I think about it a lot. Like, well, if I fucking hang myself, it's like that's what they want. You know what I mean? Honestly, it feels like I'd just be giving them something they probably want. It's literally. But yeah. When it's bad, it's just really bad, you know. And it just sucks that it just hasn't been, there hasn't really been any. I can't point to a time in the last several months where I can say, I just found it noteworthy that they just left me alone. You know what I mean? I can't. You know, they haven't. You know, and I mean, they're always going to be there. I mean, I can probably strike up a conversation with them as easily as anybody on the street. I mean, literally, I can. I can just say something to them, and then they'll respond. Especially if I want them to. It's that crazy. But I mean, as far as the last few days, they've been leaving me alone a little bit more instead of just rambling all day long. But with regard to you know, oh, it's just, I don't know. It's just bullshit. It's really bullshit. I mean, I'll say that. You know, I feel like there was a little bit of, you know what? No, I think what I'm thinking of is when I was working on some of these provisions, they would leave me alone, like long enough just to finish it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is nice. I almost feel like I'm privileged here for not being fucked with while I work on this thing. It's like being a slave, man. It's like being some kind of sick joke of a like. And that's one of the things they repeatedly said to me for so long was harder than you think. You know what I mean? Harder than you think. Harder than you think. Like, they want me to know, you know, that it's just going to be more fucked up than you can even imagine. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to pinpoint every fucking thought in your brain and sit there, and they have weapons and things that they can use to just crank the pain up inside your head. You know what I mean? It's not like any kind of pain you've ever experienced before. It's not like physical pain. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But anyways, it's like torment. It's like the feeling of, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the feeling if somebody could take and just make you aggravated, and then just like crank it all the way up to a point of where it doesn't actually even make any sense, to the point of where it's an assault. I can't explain that. It's just like a feeling inside of you that's just is like something inside, this being assaulted. I don't know what it is. It's something in my perception. It's something in the way that I feel. I want to call it maybe emotion, like an emotion or something like that. Oh my God. I'll just tell you like this. It is assault. Just to be clear with you on something. It is assault. What they do to me is assault. Okay? And they do it to me all the time, man. I can't get them to stop. You know? I really can't. They will not stop. And it's just terrible because they really are there all the time. Like they are in my head, you know? So one of the things I've thought about is taking like serious hardcore drugs, you know, like Xanax or some kind of hydrocodone or something. I might. I'm really thinking about it. So, anyways, I don't know why it would have to come to that, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. You know. But yeah, it's been a nightmare, and you know what? The last couple of days, I'll say this much: the last couple of days, I was what I would call tolerable. You know, for me, you know, because it was yes, they're going to torture you, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like every fucking thought, you know. So I don't know what it is, but I think it does have something to do with women. I haven't been able to figure out why it is that it would calm down for 2 days and then on the third day just pick back up again for no apparent reason whatsoever because I haven't put in there's nothing important on my agenda. You know, all the important stuff is already taken care of. So I don't know why it's happening, but I do believe that it has something to do with women. You know, and I think that it's having something to do with, you know, I think it's something to do with, oh well, you're thinking about something important, so you're gonna get fucked with. And then there's a lot of stuff about Alex Jones, you know, and I was talking about this yesterday. You know, the situation with Alex Jones. So